Today is Easter Saturday, what might be considered the darkest day in history. After the horrific events of Good Friday, I wonder if the empty void that is Easter Saturday was even worse. And Scripture is almost entirely silent regarding this day. There is a brief reference in Luke chapter 23 to the women who had been preparing Jesus' body for burial, observing the Sabbath. But other than that, the Scripture is entirely silent regarding Easter Saturday. And there are some things that we do know if we piece together the accounts of Good Friday and the resurrection. We know that when Jesus was arrested, the disciples scattered. We know that Peter attended Jesus' trial, sort of in the shadows, and that's where he denied Jesus. We see John at the crucifixion. And by the morning of Easter Sunday, at least some of the disciples had gathered, but they were fearful. They met in secret behind locked doors. Otherwise, we're left to speculate on what was going on during this day. And I want us to think about for a moment, what was Easter Saturday like for the disciples? What feelings were they experiencing? Grief, disillusionment, betrayal, fear, anger, maybe. I wonder what questions they were asking themselves. How did we get here? Where did things go so wrong? Why is this happening? What's the point of the last 3 years? What now? Now, if they'd been aware enough, there was evidence around them that all was not lost. There were clues in the Old Testament scriptures. There were Jesus' words himself. Even his actions during his 3 years of ministry could have clued them into the fact that they need not give up hope entirely. But whether it was just through shock or maybe God in his sovereignty kept it from them, at this point, they did not join the dots. Of course, our perspective is very different than theirs. We have the benefit of hindsight. But just think about this. From the disciples' standpoint, on Easter Saturday, they were thinking everything had come to an end. Whereas for us, we know that this was just the in-between. You know, there's a phrase people sometimes use, they say perception is reality. I don't actually think that's true. Because truth is truth whether we see it or not. Sometimes appearances might suggest one reality, but true reality is something very different. So as we take some time to reflect this Easter Saturday, I want to give some suggestions, things to think about, things to encourage us with when we find ourselves in the in-between. When it seems like God has lost control, he is absolutely in control. When it seems like darkness has overcome light, light will absolutely overcome darkness. And when it seems like all hope is lost, hope is very much alive. And that's what we'll celebrate together tomorrow.